There once was a pawn named Shaun. He loved chess but was made fun of by the other chessmen, particularly the bishop and the knight, because he was the weakest link in the fight. Shaun wanted to prove to the other chessmen, particularly the king who he was sworn to protect, that he was a worthy friend and not one to neglect. So Shaun practiced chess diligently and read many books on the subject. He was overjoyed to learn one day that if a pawn maneuvers to the other side of the board, he can become a queen and change the outcome of the game. Shaun tried during every match to reach the opponent's side, but he never could. He read more chess books and strategy guides, but he could not advance from where he stood. He asked the other chessmen to help him, but they refused. Then it dawned on Shaun that he needed to try to get to the other side when his opponents least expected that he would move. When his next chess game started, he realized that it was a big tournament, and they were up against a world-class expert. So Shaun, positioned in his usual place on the farthest right side of the board, ahead of Roger the Rook, waited patiently for the right time to make his charge, hoping that in his stealth he was faster than the Grand Master. Shaun's first move was easy, and he progressed 2 spaces freely. But then he had to wait as the other pawns and the knights and bishops were busy battling for positions. Shaun was watching with keen intensity as the war was being waged between his beloved dark brown comrades and the lightly beige enemy attackers. Then it was his turn to make a move, and Shaun noticed that he could capture what appeared to be a sacrificial pawn from the lighter side. Shaun was afraid, however, since he was in a precarious spot where he could be taken out by an anxious bishop. Surprisingly, the bishop left Shaun alone, and he was free to travel up one more square, where he got an eye-to-eye glimpse of the enemy king, who looked overly confident, knowing as he did that Shaun was incapable of traversing 2 spaces diagonally in just one move. Shaun felt frozen in that square, since any move he made would invariably lead to his arrest and capture and removal from the game. He wasn't quite sure what to do, so he watched as his brothers in arms fought gallantly, with many friends and foes being dislodged from their post. Shaun saw a brief glimmer of hope, so he took a chance and proceeded to the penultimate square, where he was nearly touching the enemy's rook. Shaun knew he couldn't move anymore, since he would invariably be taken out. However, he was completely aghast when he saw his beloved queen cornered and ejected by a brilliant camouflage attack. With no queen, they were surely doomed, Shaun reflected. He knew he had to take a risk, even if it meant his termination. He was just one block away, and closing his eyes so as not to be intimidated, he took the plunge and landed on the final square. Shaun then opened his eyes and was stunned to realize that Roger the Rook had sacrificed himself so that he would be safe. To the amazement of everyone present, including those wounded on the sidelines, Shaun became crowned a queen, and on his very next move, checkmated the enemy king, and won the game, beating the Grand Master. Shaun the pawn was never made fun of again, and was regarded by all, even his opponents, as a courageous warrior whose skill at chess was legendary.